1 cup of this clears every weed from your driveway, and if you do the one thing at the end that almost nobody does, they never grow back. Not next month, not next spring. And the strange part is that the cup that finally works is not some expensive chemical from the store. It is 2 things you almost certainly already have in your kitchen right now. But there is a catch. And the catch is the whole reason your driveway keeps sprouting weeds no matter how many times you pull them or spray them. So stay with me, because the last step is the one that actually matters. Let me start with a truth that most weed videos will never admit. Your driveway is a completely different battlefield from your lawn. On a lawn, you have to protect the grass, so you need something delicate and selective. On a driveway, there is nothing you want to save. No grass, no flowers. Nothing but bare stone and concrete and the weeds pushing up through the cracks. And that changes everything, because now you are allowed to use the one thing that is far too brutal for a lawn. You are allowed to salt the earth. Here is the cup that does it. 1 cup of ordinary table salt dissolved into 1 gallon of plain white vinegar. Add 1 tablespoon of dish soap and stir it until the salt disappears. That is the entire recipe. No special order, no secret brand, and each of those 3 ingredients is doing a specific job. The vinegar is acetic acid, and acid is a contact killer. The moment it touches a green leaf, it burns through the waxy surface and destroys the plant tissue it lands on. Within a day, the weed wilts, browns, and collapses. The salt does something different and much longer lasting. Salt pulls the water straight out of the plant, drying it from the inside, and then it soaks down into the crack and stays there. Salt does not break down the way vinegar does. It lingers in that narrow strip of grit and dust, and it makes that spot hostile to life, and the dish soap is the glue. On its own, liquid beads up and rolls off a waxy weed leaf. The soap breaks that surface tension so your mixture clings and soaks in instead of running off onto the concrete. So you spray it, the weeds go brown, and it looks like victory. And this is exactly where every other video stops and tells you the job is done. But if you have ever done this, you already know the truth. A few weeks later, the weeds are back, right in the same cracks, sometimes stronger than before. So let me tell you why. Because this is the part they leave out, and it is the real secret hiding inside the title. Weeds do not grow through your driveway. Look closely at a crack, and you will understand. That weed is not rooted in the solid concrete. It is rooted in a thin line of wind-blown soil, dust, and rotted leaves that has collected in the joint over months and years. That trapped debris is a tiny garden bed running right down the middle of your driveway. A seed lands in it, finds a little moisture, and grows. Kill the weed all you want. If you leave that strip of soil sitting in the crack, you have left the seed bed intact, and the wind will drop a fresh seed into it within weeks. That is why they always come back. You have been killing the plant and feeding the next one. So here is how to do it right, step by step, so they never grow back. Step 1. Pick a hot, dry, sunny day with no rain in the forecast for at least a full day after. Sun makes the acid work harder and faster, and rain would just wash your mixture away before it can do anything. Step 2. Soak the weeds. Do not miss them. Pour or spray your salt and vinegar mixture generously right down into the cracks until the weeds and the soil around their base are thoroughly wet. You want it to reach the root zone in that joint, not just dampen the leaves. Step 3. Wait. Give it 1 to 3 days. The weeds will turn yellow, then brown, then crisp and dead. For a tough, deep, taproot weed like a dandelion, 1 soaking may only knock down the top. If it tries to push out a second time, hit it again. Be honest with yourself here. A mature, perennial root can survive the first round, and anyone who tells you 1 spray kills it forever is not being straight with you. Step 4. And this is the step that changes everything. Once the weeds are dead and dry, get down there and scrape the cracks out. Use a crack weeder tool, a stiff wire brush, or a flat screwdriver, and dig out every bit of the dead weed and the dark, crumbly soil packed into the joint. This is the seedbed. Remove it, and you remove the only place a new weed could ever take hold. Step 5. Seal the empty crack. For paver joints, sweep in polymeric sand, the kind that hardens when you mist it with water, and it locks the joint solid. For a plain concrete crack, run a bead of concrete or masonry crack filler down the line. Now the gap is closed. There is no soil, no gap, and no opening for a seed to land in. This is the difference between weeds that come back and weeds that never do. You did not just kill the plant, you erased the garden it was living in. And if you do not even want to buy vinegar, there is an even simpler first strike that costs nothing. Boiling water. A full kettle poured slowly and directly into the crack at 212 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 100 degrees Celsius, will scald the weed and the top of its root instantly. It leaves no residue at all. Once it cools, it is just water, so it will not stain your stone or harm anything it did not touch. It works beautifully on young, shallow weeds. Its only weakness is the deep taproot, because the water cools as it sinks and often cannot reach the very bottom. So use boiling water to clear the easy weeds, save the salt and vinegar for the stubborn ones, and never skip the scraping and sealing at the end, no matter which one you choose. Now the honest cautions, because I will never hand you a tool without showing you its edges. First, and most important, keep this mixture away from anything you want to keep alive. That same salt that sterilizes a driveway crack will poison a flower bed, kill your lawn, and ruin good soil for a long time. Do not let it run off toward garden beds, tree roots, or the lawn edge, and never let it wash into a storm drain, because it is harmful to fish and waterways. What makes salt perfect for a driveway is exactly what makes it deadly in a garden. Right tool, wrong place, and you will regret it. Second, household vinegar is only 5% acid, and on stubborn weeds it may be too weak on its own, which is another reason the salt and the scraping matter so much. Stronger horticultural vinegar at 20% works faster, but it is genuinely caustic. It can burn your skin and damage your eyes, so if you use the strong stuff, wear eye protection and gloves and treat it like the chemical it is. Third, salt and acid can etch, stain, or discolor certain surfaces, especially natural stone, colored concrete, and metal. Test a small hidden spot first before you soak the whole driveway. There is something ancient in this, and it is real, not a legend. The practice of sowing salt into the ground to make sure nothing grows there again is thousands of years old. It appears in old texts as an act of finality, a way of saying, "This ground is closed." That is precisely what you are doing in the cracks of your driveway. You are not gardening, you are closing the ground. So remember the whole truth, not the half of it. 1 cup of salt in a gallon of vinegar kills what is growing. But the reason they never grow back is the step nobody films. You scrape out the seedbed and you seal the crack, kill it, clear it, close it, do all 3, and that strip of weeds down your driveway becomes a thing of the past for good.